Hey guys, welcome back to the Wake and Dreamer video blog, and I want to talk about keys, this particular key, awakening, aliens, and this perilous time we live in. So first of all, if it wasn't for the magic in my life right now, and I mean serious synchronicity, serious flow, crazy things like the disappearing and reappearing key, which I'll tell you about, I don't know how I'd be doing, honestly, with the whole American government shutdown that's currently happening. And I'm a Canadian, not that I care, but with the chaos politically in the US, with the craziness of the Donald Trump storyline where people are just, it's just literally become like, it's become a bizarre, almost dark comedy to watch the politics of America. Nuclear threats with North Korea, and what a lot of people don't even talk about, which are volcanoes erupting worldwide, increased earthquakes and tremors, and of course extreme climate. So without reiterating what we all know, we are living in what can only be called perilous times. Now, I'm recovering from the flu. I can barely believe I'm actually walking and talking after getting the flu that has been one of the most pervasive flus that we've ever seen. And the map of the United States, for instance, is entirely red, which almost has never happened in, years. And so it's only pervasive, but it's also more virulent and life-threatening. So we're all like kind of seeing what we can only call really strange things. Now the key, let's talk about the key. I bought this key in Montreal in September, and I've already blogged about it. It always goes in my briefcase, and I clean my briefcase out, like my laptop briefcase, after every single trip. And when I mean this goes in my briefcase, everything that I buy on trips and that's portable, that can possibly go back on the airplane with me instead of my suitcase, goes into my briefcase. So the day I was getting ready to leave after buying this antique master key in a store in Montreal in September, I was going to pack my briefcase up for the flight, and the key was missing off the end table of the Airbnb rental. It was gone. When I got home, I dumped my briefcase upside down, turned my suitcase inside out, looked everywhere, just in case maybe I had packed it in a weird way that I couldn't find, and it was nowhere to be found. Like literally the upside down briefcase shake, nothing left inside. Now, at the same time, I've already blogged about this, looking for the key, the missing key. Sounds like a novel, Case of the Missing Key. I also stumbled on a mouse. It came like an Apple mouse, wireless mouse. It came out of my briefcase, and I'm like, wait a minute here. I didn't think I packed the mouse on that trip to Montreal. I was dropping my daughter at residence. Didn't need to have a mouse. Wasn't going to be doing any working. Wasn't doing any blogging or anything. And so I went into my office where I have my mouse usually stored in the drawer, and there it was. This was another mouse, not my mouse. What mouse was it? Well, in April of last year, 17, I lost a mouse. It disappeared. I thought it was in my briefcase, but one day it was, and the next day it wasn't. So I bought a new one in April. So now I have two Apple mice. The missing one has reappeared in the magical briefcase. The key that was nowhere to be found in September falls out of my briefcase when I come back from Mexico on January 3rd with my daughter, and I am unpacking my Mexico briefcase and doing the old upside down shake at the end of every trip. I'm so creature of habit to clean out everything in there, the wrappers, the crumbs from my it's my online thing. I'm not online, it's my onboard carry on. The crumbs for whatever cookies I was eating on the plane. Out comes this key. This key that disappeared in September reappeared magically on January 3rd in the very briefcase where it was missing, just like a magic show, guys. Now, I'm only talking about this because I don't think it's capricious. I don't think I have a poltergeist in my life. I think it might be tied to changing realities and reality shifting, but whatever it is, it's non-ordinary and it is magical. And I'm bringing that up because I think from what I'm seeing in the world, as the chaos increases, as things get more intense, more people are waking up to synchronicity, non-ordinary reality, and high strangeness, for lack of a better word. And I was just on the phone with a client this morning, because I do psychic readings in my spare time, and I was hearing from yet another client, I'm hearing it all the time, who's now having these really powerful precognitive dreams. Last week when that false alarm went off in Hawaii with the missile, or a couple of weeks ago, and there was actually no missile inbound to Hawaii, I dreamt that night of an inbound missile. Okay, I dreamt that night of an inbound missile. It was headed towards an apartment building, very 9/11 style. And in my dream, I thought, oh, is that a UFO or is that a missile? Anyway, and the next day there was a missile alert, which makes me wonder if there was indeed something inbound, right, that was intercepted. So that gets us to the aliens. hang in there. I know this is so not your typical namaste, awakened dreamer. Hang in there. I'm going to get to a punchline, I hope. So in the dream about the inbound missile in this non-ordinary reality that we're all beginning to live in, I also dreamt there was an alien connected to it, like a non-human entity, an extraterrestrial of some sort. And it wasn't friendly. It was not friendly. I always want to think of E.T. Go Home, and I want to think of friendly aliens. And in my dream, it was not. And I was trying to convince it to be friendly to humanity, that it would serve its purpose to be friendlier. And I'm only bringing this up because I'm going to go something on the record here as a clairvoyant and do something I almost never do. And I'm going to make a public prediction. And that is that by mid-2018, and perhaps the month of May, but I certainly by mid-2018, some event is going to happen that's the equivalent of the UFO landing on the White House lawn. Now, I'm accurate at predictions historically, but I usually do them as personal predictions for people. Now, I don't usually do mass predictions, okay? Although I did predict Donald Trump was going to win the election. And I was sad to know that that was going to happen. So I have a similar strong knowing, just like I did before 9/11, just like I did before stock markets crash, that this 2018 is a year that we hear from the aliens. Now, what do I mean by that? I don't know if they're going to land on the White House lawn, but whatever is the non-human entities that are responsible for the UFO phenomena, the lights in the sky, the stuff that's now the Pentagon's beginning to sort of disclose in leaky bits, is because something is approaching Earth, or something is approaching this dimension. I don't know which it is. I've been seeing it in my inner vision for about 20 years, but I'm seeing it more often. I'm having dreams about it. And I feel like the disclosure that we're getting with governments now and stuff is just a preparation, because they know this is inbound as well. Inbound, incoming, whatever. And I feel like the point of it, in a bigger perspective, is to kind of bitch slap consciousness. I mean, to like get people on this planet when the contact happens, whatever that looks like. Okay, I don't think it's a war and we're fighting aliens. I think it's just alarming, and they may not be particularly fond of us, but I think there's not a war. And I really feel, and I don't want to call them demons and interdimensional beings. I know there's a lot of born-again Christian types out there. Okay, I'm just not there. I actually think this is like another life form, period. Okay, period. And what I want to say about that is that bitch slap are frigging limited, xenophobic, myopic, self-centered consciousness that most of this planet operates by, which leads me to awakening. I want to get this over in 10 minutes or less. We need to be shaken up, guys. I mean, anybody who's had a spiritual awakening already knows and already gets it, right? That there is not room left for a separateness consciousness. There's no room left on this planet for that. If we have to split off, you know what I mean? Like go into like multiple timelines, and there's timelines then where the earth is catastrophically collapsing around separate consciousness. The idea that there is a separate self that's not in harmony with all of creation, that's not a player in the orchestra, the divine orchestra of reality. All right, and independent of all the things I'm investigating, Mandela effect, simulation theory, quantum gravity, I still say that fundamentally reality is a unified field. We're a part of something unified. And yes, you have your individual perspective in the unity of all things, and that is who you are. You're like, if you want to look at reality as a map, you have your unique location, as unique as your fingerprint, but you're still a part of this greater thing in which you are located. And that is where we're going wrong and have gone wrong. And even when you get involved with the guru and you get down in the rabbit hole of my enlightenment, you'll eventually realize there's no my for the enlightenment to happen to. That's what's so crazy. You can't get anything by getting enlightened. It's not what you get, it's what you lose. But when you lose it, you win. So it's such a paradox. That's a long, strange rant, but thank you for listening. I'm doing a blog post coming up on the Awakened Dreamer about UFOs of all things. Yes, I'm deviating wildly from my beginnings as a non-duality writer, but I have to talk about what I'm seeing and what I'm sensing. So I will stay tuned for that on my written blog. And thank you for listening so darn long. And may you not get that flu that is rampant in the United States, and also where I am in Vancouver, Canada, in southern BC. So it took me 2 weeks. I'm at the 2-week mark, and I still have something strange with my throat. Okay, guys, and I'm still really tired. Take care. Love you. And stay tuned. I'm going to start blogging at least weekly. I say this all the time, but I decided 2018, do or die. I think I better do. I'd rather do. Mwah.